And then I also have it in the cobalt blue. Will sell out very, very quickly. All right, come on over. I want to show you something really cool to start the show. So everybody out there should have a really, really, really good utility knife, a paring knife. Problem is, a lot of us don't have one, or we have one that's old and it's dull and it doesn't work. Well, this is not just a paring knife. This actually is 3-in-1. It's a paring knife, and one of the best ones you'll ever use. Perfect size, comfort grips, all that stuff, super sharp, from Kitchen HQ, which is our brand. But it also has an attachment that allows you to also slice. All right, you can dice, you can do so many different things with it, and you can even control the shredding. If you wanted to shred vegetables, you can do that, or peel vegetables. I have it available in your choice of colors. It comes in fuchsia, it comes in aqua, this is black, this is blue, this is red, and guess what? We're doubling up, and we're gonna give you two. It's a weekly deal drop. We dropped the price by $5, actually by $10. Is it $5 or $10? $5, down to $24.99. Chef Shahir is with us. He's gonna show us how to use it. Hey, welcome to our last cooking show,
Good
buddy.
to see you, man.
You know my last show is on Saturday.
We're gonna have fun.
With my friend here, too. Why is a paring knife, you know, a utility knife so important?
I always say this. A 4.5-inch utility knife, paring knife, you're gonna use more than a chef knife.
Yeah.
I use my paring knife at that size every single day.
Easier to control, right?
Easier to control when you just need to get that quick task done. So here's what we've done at Kitchen HQ. First things first, look at that. We've made it sharp, easy to use, ergonomic in your hand. It quite frankly is the best paring knife you're ever gonna use and the last you're ever gonna buy. Stainless steel, and again, think of all those little tasks when you just wanna chop that tomato or slice the strawberries. You don't reach for that big 10-inch chef knife.
Sharp.
Look how sharp it is. You reach for that paring knife that you can easily handle in your hands. But because this is Kitchen HQ, we said, what else can we do to make a paring knife more spectacular? Here's what we've done. It comes with a little guard. So first things first, it keeps that knife blade nice and safe for you to use. But there's also 3 little areas, slots, where you can put that paring knife. So watch this. In the second slot, it goes from a paring knife
to a peeler.
To a peeler. And a sharp peeler at that.
Now, you actually have the cover on it, but the blade is exposed just enough to do your peeling.
The blade is exposed just enough to peel.
So you don't have to grab another tool and clean it.
Exactly. Less tools. Now I can open it up and use it as my paring knife. Look how sharp. And I always tell people, Guy, and you know this, a sharp knife is a safe knife.
Yeah.
And it's the dull knife that goes where you don't want it to go and you end up hurting yourself. So when you talk about the size, when you talk about the stainless steel, this is the last knife you're ever gonna buy in terms of a paring knife, and you get 2.
Yeah, and remember, a paring knife is usually a very, very, very sharp knife. This is going to come razor sharp when you get it. And the only time you'll ever need to actually sharpen it is probably maybe once or twice a year, because remember, when you're cutting on a soft board,
look at that.
It's the board that actually dulls the knife. It's not the vegetables. So
totally.
I always say, you know, cut on whatever the softest board you can. If a lot of people have the plexiglass boards, or they have whatever board you have, and then this will easily sharpen. We are going to give you 2 of these. The reason we give you 2 is that you've always got one ready. You always have one handy, and one you can keep locked in with the cover on and just be your peeler.
Look at the peeler. Right? Even a soft kiwi, it just goes right through that kiwi. So also with the guard, your hands are nowhere in the way. So we've thought of everything so that it's safe,
it can't get your thumb, it can't
and it won't get your thumb. You've got a thumb guard over here. I will use it for my carrots, obviously. So when you talk about a sharp peeler, look, long strands of the carrot, the cucumber. I've done my, I'll show you a mango even.
And you're a chef. Now, isn't it hard to find a really good peeler? It's like, we have a couple of them here, but they're just peelers.
And think of it this way. How many are old and rusty, and you're chipping away at your potato? Look at the long strands of carrot I just peeled in 30 seconds. Now I can transform back to my stainless steel utility knife, and even hard carrot.
Yep.
That's what you want.
And you're getting that really precise cutting because you're not using a big giant knife, which you really don't need. The key to a good knife, as you said earlier, is it to be really, really sharp. When you have a really, really sharp knife, you don't have to push as hard, which you really shouldn't have to do anyway. If you have to push hard on any food, it's time to sharpen your knife. This knife is going to come razor sharp, and remember, you are getting 2. So if you want to keep one in your tackle box, you want to keep one in your RV, whatever you want to have one place and one in another, you can do that, right? Or you always know you've got a backup. So we are basically doing 2 of these for $12.50 each, and you're getting them home for a fraction of the price. There are things that are really, really hard to peel, and I'm glad that rolled out of the shot.
Look at that.
A mango.
A mango
is really hard to peel with any kind of a peeler, but when you can hold it and kind of work it.
And work it and go around the grooves. A lot of people are surprised when I tell them this is how I prep my mango. And look how sharp that peeler is. It's just easy, it's fast, and multifunctional. This is the whole story of Kitchen HQ. It's got to be able to do more than one thing. So whether you're doing your mango, your carrot, your cucumbers, you've got a brand new peeler and that 4.5-inch utility knife, which is the size you're going to reach for every single day.
All right, this is the first time I've ever aired this, and we are very, very busy. We did a weekly deal drop on it, and please remember, you're not getting one, you're getting two. So you can keep one for yourself, you can give one to your kids, whatever you want to do, but I like always having a couple of different really sharp, smaller knives in the drawer. I don't want to have to always go to my big, and I've got big fancy knives that you really can't do smaller vegetables with them. With this, you can peel things like tomatoes, you can do your cucumbers, you can do your carrots, you can do any kind of vegetable, the kiwis, which are really hard to peel. You can do all that. So, 2 in red, and we've taken the little protector off. You can do 2 in the cobalt blue. I have it in aqua. The fuchsia is going very quickly. If you want to get that, I would order quick. And then always the most popular is the black. And again, it has this little cover on it which protects it while it's in the shelf. But then if you look at it, and Chef, we'll get a close-up there. Show them the 3 slots, because there are separate slots which allows you to adjust how thick you want those slices to be.
Guys, can you get that shot here?
Yeah,
look at the 3 slots. So when I put my paring knife in the first slot, all that's doing is making it safe to store, so that blade isn't able to cut me while I reach for it in the drawer. It also keeps the blade sharp, so it's not getting dull. When I put it in the second slot, it's now just thin enough, and there's a lock even to be safe, look. It's just thin enough to be that vegetable peeler that I showed you, so that I can take that carrot
so you can adjust the thickness of the peel.
Exactly, so you can adjust the thickness of the peel.
Dude,
look
you
at
can
that.
do zoodles and stuff with this stuff too. I mean,
Totally.
Look at these carrots. I mean, you can
and
do
look, in the third guy, you can scooch on over to the third.
So now, is that going to give me thicker?
And that's going to give you a thicker slice if you want to just do a little slice of zucchini or cucumber. Look at that.
Oh,
look at that.
I see what you're doing. Obviously,
even
we're doing it backwards.
Slices.
But yeah. All right. Very, very busy. Pat,
super cool.
Pat, I'm going to guess black is the most popular. I might be wrong. The red.
The red. Well, I was thinking the magenta.
I know. I like that. It's fuchsia, actually.
Fuchsia.
Yeah, fuchsia. We ought to be stickler about it. Guys, again, I have known Italian cooks, and the Italian grandmas love this knife. They will use, literally, they will use this knife to cut everything. I mean, onions, pepper, it doesn't matter. They always use a little knife because that's what they grew up with. You know, they don't have these big giant honking, you know, like chef's knives. They get these, and more often than not, they're given to them by their parents, by their mother or their grandma. This is the perfect grandma knife. And its weight is easy enough to handle.
And it's easy to handle. Think about what you want in your everyday knife when you're just using those little tasks, the tomatoes, the cucumbers, slicing those strawberries. 4.5 inches of stainless steel, ergonomically designed. You can even see that little groove in the handle. We designed it so that it feels good in your hand. You're going to use this size knife, stainless steel, more than a big 10-inch chef knife, even an 8-inch chef knife. You're going to use that utility knife every day for all those little tasks. You want it to be sharp.
And let me give you a tip. And whether you follow it or not, it's up to you. A lot of you have a dishwasher and you like to use it. Last time I used my dishwasher was probably 11 years ago. It's brand new. I've never used it because I don't like to put knives in a dishwasher. I don't put knives in anything that's sharp, like the blades inside my food chopper. I don't put that. I actually just rinse them off, and you'll get more use and more lifetime out of a knife if you don't heat it. And then cool it and heat it and cool it. So if you can, plus I don't like you having to reach in for a knife into your dishwasher. So I would hand wash, but it's totally up to you. Discounted today. Remember, you're not getting one. You are getting 2. So if you want to give it, you're going to love this, and you're going to want to use it all the time.
You're going to use it every day. The 4.5-inch stainless steel size is that everyday size. But think of the virtues of that guard. That guard does 3 things. It keeps the blade sharp and safe when you store it in your drawer. Then when you scooch it over to the second position, you're going to turn it into the ultimate peeler. And then the third position, you're going to turn it into a little slicer.
I love this for anybody who's a senior out there because, like I said, it's easy to handle.
Yeah.
You know, not all of us are chefs. Chef and I both had a lot, he's got ridiculous experience. I was in the restaurant business for 18 years. So, I got used to using a knife, but a lot of people are uncomfortable using big, sharp knives. This is small. It's lightweight.
Manageable.
It's easy to manipulate and manage. Great point. And you rinse it off, you put it back out. You will use this for almost every single meal. All right. That's it for this. Item number is 892, I think.